We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thính, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhớ thiết chúng sanh. Tín chiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Tổ Sư Chế Đô Ye Ơ La Hơ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Tạc Đạc Tha Tu Ya Đa Ya A La Ha Đế Tam Miệu Tham Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa ba hi qian, 万劫难遭遇，我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Ching Liang, Great Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good known advisors, Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大师、师父上人，各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện sĩ Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, today is the 15th of November 2024. We are at Wei Mountain Temple to continue studying the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra written by Great Master Ching Liang. We are now on slide 1086. We hopefully will be finished with this and then we'll move on to the chapter, some kind of chapter. All right, we're in the midst of discussing this. Again, don't worry about it. Absorb as much as you can. It's not about understanding. It's about learning bits and pieces of wisdom from the Avatamsaka Sutra and planting those Vajra seeds of wisdom. And these are fantastic seeds of wisdom. So here, 1086, it's talking about Ichantikas. Ichantikas are those who have insufficient faith, who have no faith. That's why they're big in trouble. The concept being that if you want to enter Mahayana, Mahayana is like the great ocean. Only via faith can you enter it. That's what the sages of old said about studying the Avatamsaka Sutra or Mahayana. Mahayana, Avatamsaka Sutra is one of the deeper sections of the Mahayana, and therefore this is what it is. It's about in this section it says that with these ichantikas, they're getting nowhere. They will suffer for a long, long time because they have insufficient faith. To me, it's fascinating because this is what is so fundamental to life. The spiritual life, we're here in the 21st century, there's so much suffering because people ignore the spiritual life. They have no spiritual faith, okay? Faith in something is bigger than they are, something much wiser than they are. And because of that, they don't know how to cope with their sufferings. And in particular, the Ichantika is a primary example where it's not about someone else, but that part of us that refuses to believe. Okay? And so the two kinds of people who will not enter the nirvana, Ichantikas are the first kind, where because they don't have faith, they don't deserve to enter nirvana, they're not qualified to enter nirvana. You want good things to happen to you. Bottom line is that, do you deserve it or not? Don't blame others for your suffering. Okay? You're suffering because basically it's your own doing, whether it's now or something that happened in the past. All right? And it's the truth is brutal, but if you don't even believe in that, it's very difficult for you to overcome your problems. Stop blaming others. Okay? Yeah. And so that's why these Ichantikas really, frankly speaking, they don't deserve to experience happiness. There's nothing you can do for them. They don't have faith, it's nothing you can do. That's what the Buddha is basically telling us right here. Okay? Yeah. And the other kind is that those who have sympathy and pity for all the realms of living beings, meaning the bodhisattvas, and they said, these living beings are suffering so much, I cannot afford to think of my own happiness when these beings are suffering so much. Okay? And that right there, folks, is the personification of what? Great compassion. Okay? They see people suffering and say, I can do something about it. And therefore, how can I possibly think of my own happiness, my own bliss, my own comfort? And that's personified by great Master YongHua. I can't think of anything that he does that is to cater to his own comfort, his own happiness. He's too busy helping others. And that's why, guess what? He's the happiest person that I've ever met is him. Because he doesn't worry about himself. He doesn't blame others for his suffering, for his difficulties. He doesn't say, see, I tried to help you so much all these years. You still don't get it. You still don't understand me. You still refuse my help. He doesn't blame him. He just keep on going at it and finding new ways to help others. Okay? And that's why I guarantee you, I've never met anyone as happy as he is. And he doesn't worry about himself at all. Not at all. I want to share with you because that's exactly what it is. These bodhisattvas, these mahasattvas, when they have great wisdom, like I said, I will not enter nirvana. I don't think of myself. Okay, and Master YongHua says here, slide 1086, and this is also personified by Earth Store Bodhisattva. What Master YongHua did is basically follow suit, copy, imitate Earth Store Bodhisattva, who made a vow. He says, This is the English translation. If the hells are not empty, I will not become a Buddha. When all living beings are saved, I will then certify the Bodhi. And I want you to do the comparison, because this is my version of it. I say, when the hells are not empty. It's not an if. Okay? It's a when. It denotes relentlessness. This Mahasattva is relentless. He's not going to stop until the hells are empty. It's no if here. Okay? When is what he means. You see, this is a problem with the translation. If you translate it, if the hells are not empty, I will not become a Buddha. When all of the beings are saved, I will then certify the Bodhi. That's the low-level Bodhisattva Dharma. I'm teaching you the Mahasattva mindset. When they are relentless, the hells are not empty, I will not become a Buddha. Okay? Until all living beings are saved, I will then certify the Bodhi. Maybe. I will add another maybe for you. Because it really bothered me when I first learned this. I said, what the hey? So I'm supposed to do this and I will never become a Buddha, so what's the point? I really struggle with this. And I disguised it. I said, this is so nice. Such a good role model. But deep inside, I said, I can't do that. But now I understand. Again, this Bodhisattva, Mahasattva is relentless. He said, until I save them all. I'm not expecting the Buddha to save them, expect one Yin Bodhisattva to help them and save them. I want to save them all. Okay? Then I become Buddha. Isn't it fantastic? And that's the Dharma behind Erstwhile Bodhisattva. It's not where, it's not if, it's not, it's the small Bodhisattva Dharma that they translate into English. Okay? Outside is Mahasattva Dharma. Okay, boys and girls? You like? Special effects? Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, that's a difference, folks. It's a different in mentality. Are you thinking big enough? You know what it takes to do it? What's the mindset behind these Mahasattvas? Okay? Yeah. It's amazing. They are under Master YongHua. This is Mahasattva who is relentless, and they don't get it. And you call it translation? You call this baby translation. That's low-level translation. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so Master YongHua says, the Chinese thing, yin-yang again, good and bad. But what's needed is the middle way. I know why the middle way has anything to do with it, because, by the way I define middle way is different from his. Okay? And this is where my confusion initially was. I said, so the middle way is somewhere in the middle. There's no such a thing as a middle. Are you Democrat here? Are you Republican? Okay? There's no in the middle. Okay? So I'm just joking about it, of course. I know some of you are still hurting. But anyway, so then he says, you know, a funny thing, I send my people to Asia, okay? So he sent his disciples to Asia to receive full ordination, the first 5 bhikshus, bhikshunis, whatever. And they to remind you the story from the prior weeks, and they met this senior monk, okay, somewhere in Taiwan maybe, who said, you should not save women. And these brilliant Caucasian disciples, he said, that makes sense, because it's women who cause all the problems of the world. Be it as it may, okay? But we still want to save them. Only losers would punish people who are wrong. Okay? Yeah. But there's no proof they're wrong either. So anyway, so Master Shuyan says, my disciples, so this is a thing. He sent them there, and he couldn't quite speak English. They didn't quite understand him directly, so that's why there's some miscommunications. If you see the translation here, you see, they translated whatever he said, they translate into a bodhisattva level Dharma instead of Mahasattva level, which is when and until. Okay? Well, anyway, and but he very patient. He waited for them. He waited and waited and waited. Okay? And he says, it doesn't matter. To me, I'm going to get, this is his secret, by the way. He says, I don't get afflicted by these people. I work so hard to help them. They don't get it. I don't get afflicted because, to me, my motto is, everything's okay. This is Mahasattva Dharma. If you still find things that you're not okay with, then you still don't have real wisdom yet. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. Daniel Carrasco has a question. May I ask?
Sure, why not?
He asks, what exactly is nirvana and how is it related to Bodhi? I thought that Buddhists wanted to go to Pure Land.
Yeah, we like both. How's that? We want to go to the heavens, we go to the Pure Land, we want to go to Nirvana eventually. Okay? So it's all those things, meaning that it's called the middle way. We want heavens, we want everything. Okay? Why do we want everything? Because our mothers are in the hells right now. And therefore, we want to go to the hells ourselves to help our mothers, to help our fathers, help our ancestors. How could we ignore it? And then there's some people who are ready, the conditions are ripe, and then they should go to the heavens. Nothing wrong with that. Okay? Because that's all they can afford. It's still better than going to the hells. Okay? And if you even have more blessings, then you should try to go to the Pure Land. See, that's a middle way. Okay? And that's what it means. You should not exclude anything. So Nirvana is ultimately a place that is where you will find your true self, where you'll be eternally happy and you'll be pure. That's what that place is. Okay? And that place there is real. Many people have experienced it. And they said, I experienced Nirvana, okay? I've seen it, I've been there, but I don't want to stay. Because I'm busy, I'm trying to help others. All right. And so this is one of his Dharma here. Master Shuyan's Dharma is that everything is okay. All right? And in a way, it works for him, but it didn't quite work for his disciples. 1088, great wisdom addressed him saying, which of those two kinds never enter nirvana?
大慧白言，此二
何者常不入涅槃。
Okay, so this is he's quoting some sort of scriptures here. This is some bodhisattva called Great Wisdom, and he asked the Buddha. He asked, "What are the two kinds of beings who never enter nirvana?" 1090. Buddha replied, "The bodhisattvas never enter nirvana, not those who have burned up all of their good roots."
佛言：菩萨常不入涅槃，非焚烧一切善根者。
So 1091. You see, this is where Master Jinglang is very impressive. He read all these things. He read he's so literate. He's dual one. He read so many scriptures that you can count on him to have to give us proper cross-references. So one of these scriptures, the Buddha replied, is the bodhisattvas who made a vow they won't enter nirvana until all living beings have entered nirvana, and therefore they won't never enter nirvana. Why is that? Because there are always living beings around. Okay, that's why they, instead of becoming Buddhas, they said, as long as there are living beings who are suffering, I will try to help them first. I will not worry about myself. Okay? And this is the sticky point that really bothered me when I first started. I said, wow, then I should try another path. I want to go nirvana. There's too much suffering in this world. You know? And finally I understood now. I said, yeah, that's why. It makes sense. So have no doubt. Okay? This is a mindset of the Mahasattvas. He says, I see people suffering. I can't think of myself. And that's why they are so happy. Okay? Meaning that that's the middle way. In the midst of sharing the suffering of all living beings, they also enjoy the bliss of nirvana. That is the middle way. Does it make sense now? If they don't enjoy it, they'll be so stupid. And you can never say the bodhisattvas are stupid, can you? Okay, so there is this Mahasattva kind of thing, Dharma, where you just have to be aware of it. Okay, and this is where you have to believe. That's all. You don't understand. Okay, I couldn't understand logically. I struggle with that. Okay, instead of doubting, I said, okay, let me shelve it. Okay, because Ersto Bodhisattva would never lie to me. You know, Master YongHua might lie to me, but not Ersto Bodhisattva. So I decided, I say, okay, if Ersto Bodhisattva said so, I believe so. Okay? And second one are those who burn up all the good roots, the Echantikas. You see, we have good roots. It's not like Echantikas don't have good roots. We all did good in the past. But what you have to pay attention to is not to burn up those good roots. So don't get a big head, says, I've helped the temple, I help living beings, I build hospitals, I print the sutras, and so forth. Yeah, you did, you created a lot of good, but if you're not careful, you can burn it all up as well, and you become a Chantika. How's that? Isn't that interesting? You cannot afford to be lax. Okay? You may do a lot of good, but one instant you put, you can burn up all the good roots, and you have to start over again. That's why what stupid people, deluded people do. You cannot say that they don't do any good. They do a lot of good, but they don't realize they're also burning up their good roots as well. Okay? Okay? And and then he says here, it's kind of interesting, he says here, the roots are dead, okay? But sometimes the good roots can grow back. And this is why these Vajra seeds are very important. That we are harnessing right now, we're planting right now, these Vajra seeds. They will wither and die because of your stupidity, our stupidity. But eventually, because of Vajra seeds, they will resuscitate. Isn't that cool? So what's water here? Water symbolizes what? One.
Certain positive condition.
Positive conditions, okay, very good. How do those conditions occur? Yeah, one.
Meeting someone who has a wisdom.
Very good. Yes, JMT. So the water here, okay, is external help. The help that's capable of resuscitating the goodness inside of you. Okay? And that's why the bodhisattvas come in. That's where they come in. They have to come and bring water to you, create an environment where water can reach you. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that's what they make it happen, the miracles of the water that will resuscitate all your good roots, all your Vajra seeds. Okay? 1092. That is because while knowing that all dharmas basically are nirvana, they do not abandon living beings.
已知诸法本来涅槃，不舍一切诸众生故。
1093. So it says here that the bodhisattvas, the mahasattvas in particular, they know that all dharmas are just nirvana. Okay, it's right there. Okay, this is mahasattva level, so don't try to understand. Okay, never mind. Just listen to it. Plant the seeds. Okay, and nirvana. Someone asked earlier about nirvana. It's not produced, not destroyed, not defiled, not pure, neither increased nor diminished. Okay, so it's all those things, and because of that kind of wisdom, they know deep in their heart, they do not abandon living beings. Okay? Okay. So this is sort of like a trade secret. You want to be successful and reach tremendous heights. And this is, we're learning about the mindsets or the doings, what drives the mahasattvas and the Buddhas. Okay, because I remember when I was younger, my role model was like Warren Buffett, make money at any cost, or and so forth. And you don't realize that. You don't realize the real secret to success is we're learning right here. Okay, and it really matters to our children, because when you choose the wrong role model, you will suffer. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. All right, 1094. The meaning then makes it clear that bodhisattvas enter and yet do not enter.
此意则明菩萨入而不入。
Okay? Exactly the middle way. Okay? When they say, I will never enter nirvana, what does it really mean? They're there already. And that's why, and this is why this is double talk. I will never enter nirvana is for you. It's the middle way. The Dharma has been spoken for you as well. Okay? I will never enter nirvana. You hear? Okay? But they're there already. And they're still here with us. All right? And of course, for intellectually, people will struggle with this. How come you say you double talk? You do and you don't. Okay? And that's Mahayana wisdom. Yes, one.
Thank you, Master. So do you mean that the bodhisattvas are in at least two places at the same time?
Yeah.
It's just the way it is for them.
Yeah, they're not restricted as you think.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this is a different world from ours. Okay, it's not meant for you to understand. This is very important for you to remember. It's not something you can understand. You have to say, this is what it is, and you internalize it, and you see if that's the path that you want, you walk that path. Okay, we give you plenty examples, Mahasattva, Bodhisattvas, what they do, Master Shenhua, Master Qingliang, Master Suwat, whatever, in Chan, in Pure Land, and so forth. Those are the many examples that the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas chose to come to our worlds to show us the path. Remember the way? The way is their ways, what they did. All right? All right, 1096. Since it says that bodhisattvas never enter and not ichantikas, that makes clear that ichantikas later on certainly will enter.
既云菩萨常不入，非阐提者，则明阐提后必入矣。
Yeah, and see, so 1097, basically the Buddhas, when he teaches things, or bodhisattvas and teaches things, sometimes they appear to be contradictory. They will not enter nirvana, mahasattvas, but they are there already, and so forth. And or ichantikas will never enter nirvana. Actually, eventually they will. Okay, and so it's not the way you think. All right, it's not words. It's about you need to learn about this thing and say, okay, if that's what they do, that's what I need to do. Okay, there are plenty of examples of how to get there, many pathways for us to get there. 1098. Furthermore, the sutra itself says, through the spiritual power of the thus come one, a time may come when their good roots will grow again.
况今自云，复以如来神力故，或实善根生耶。
Okay, and so again, 1099, and it says here, on the surface, maybe when you see these poor souls, they burn up all the good roots, and it's nothing left. It's all ash and so forth. But you know what? The sutras, the scriptures later said that, but Buddhas will change their mind. And they said one day they're in a good mood, so they say, okay, I will turn these ashes into good roots for these poor souls. Okay, so when conditions are ripe, things will happen, miracles will happen. Okay? Why? It's because they have the power. They can do it. Okay? When we deserve it. The point here, folks, don't say, "Oh, can you give me special favors, do me special favors, and make an exception for me." It doesn't work with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the way. It doesn't matter how much you kiss up to them and be kind to them and so forth. They don't make exceptions. Okay? Yeah. DTT.
Master, can the good seeds kill or destroy the bad seeds in someone?
Is it possible to destroy the bad seeds of someone?
Yes, can the good seeds destroy the bad seeds within someone?
The good seeds destroy the bad seeds of someone. No, not necessarily, because good seeds are good seeds and bad seeds are bad seeds. Okay, they're created differently, different circumstances. Okay, it's not about destroying them. And that's a good question, by the way. It's not about destroying all the bad seeds. If you destroy all the bad seeds, life would be so boring. Don't you think? There's no more challenge. Think about it, okay? And so it's not about avoiding or destroying the bad seeds. It's about avoiding the bad seeds from maturing and making good seeds from maturing. So the good things, you want them to mature. Bad things, you do to prevent them from maturing, from growing. Does it make sense? And that's what cultivation is about. The good seeds, you want them to sprout. The bad seeds, you prevent them from sprouting. And how do you do that? That's called vigor paramita. When you see bad seeds and you're learning more and more about how bad seeds grow, that's when you work hard and harder to make sure they don't grow. And you're learning more about how good seeds grow, then you do work harder and harder to make them grow sooner, faster. And that's part of cultivation. Does it help? You look at the wrong side of the equation. There's no need to be obsessed about, I want no bad seeds. We all have bad seeds. It's natural. Sometimes the bad seeds are important because when these bad seeds are the ones that help us get close to the evil people so that we can help them. You bet. You think you're going to go to the demon and say, I'm a goody two-shoe, I am a good person, I want to be your friend. You have to come to the demon king and say, I hate people, I want to kill people. They don't deserve to live. Okay? And that's how you get close to the demon king. That's the only way for you to connect with him. Yes, one.
You're talking about maybe Mahasattva or Bodhisattva will do that, because ordinary people cannot really do that. We can't really control ourselves. Like we grow our really bad seeds, then we just get out of control.
That's what we get. That's what marriage does to us. What do you want? Perfection? I'm joking, but think about it. We do things because of the good and bad seeds that mature at different ways, And so in the midst of goodness we also do evil things. That's natural. Okay? All right, anyone else? Okay? And so here the Buddha, the Master Zheng says, I checked the scriptures, and yes, the Buddha did say that, yes, I will make the good roots grow again. Don't worry. Okay? Because when it's time, when it's necessary, let's send them down to the hells. Let's get these evil things mature, send them down to the hells. Okay? Let them suffer. And then eventually, when they are more malleable, when they are not as intransigent, then they are willing to listen, then let's make the good roots mature. And that's the power of the Buddhas. All right? So have no fear, just be patient. 1100. In row 5 of the adornment, there are also two kinds of lacking of the nature. One that bounded by time, and two ultimate.
庄严第五，无性亦有两种，一是时边，二者必尽。
Okay, now he's quoting more the row 5, the adornment Shastra, and the two kinds lacking the seat nature of Buddhahood. First kind is bounded by time. In the middle between the boundaries of beginning and end, having reached them. Okay, meaning there's a time factor involved here because our lifespans are so short. Okay, so our delusion is that we're stuck with that in a timeline. Whereas if you have more wisdom, then you see that the time is longer, and you, like Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, see much longer timelines than us. That's why the time is not right for them yet. Okay, for the seeds to mature, and two, the second kind is the ultimate in the way it is in final analysis. I don't know what that means. Okay, he will elaborate. 1102. That bounded by time is temporarily not having it, meaning the previously mentioned ichantikas.
时边未暂时之无，即前阐提。
Okay, so furthermore, the scripture says bounded by time, meaning that right now it appears that way, as it appears as if they have no good roots, but actually it's only temporary. Okay, and whereas that refers to the ichantikas right now in this span of time period. They don't have any good roots because you look, you cannot find them. All right? And 1104, the ultimate if forever, not having it, meaning the greatly compassionate bodhisattvas.
毕竟为永无及大悲菩萨。
Okay, and so this 1105 is that the ultimate is not ever having good roots to enter nirvana. And this is what the bodhisattvas are, meaning that there's one aspect in their vows, in their lifestyle, where they said, I don't want to enter nirvana. Okay? Okay? Different world, folks. 1106, from this one knows that the above quoted great prajna, deep secret, and other sutras, all were spoken before the speaking of the Dharma flower.
是知前来所引大般若、深密等经，皆是未说法华之前。
1107. So he says, okay, this thing I wrote you is about I'm giving you quotes from the Great Prajna Sutra, the Deep Secret Sutra, and other sutras, okay, that were spoken before the Dharma Flower Sutra. Dharma Flower Sutra, and as you see, it says here in the career of the Shakyamuni Buddha, he took the first 12 years to teach the Arhats and Pratyeka Buddhas, and then the next 8 years to teach Vaipulya, which is the connective teaching. And then, so you have the Agama, which is for beginners. Connective is to say, hey, by the way, it's more coming, okay, if you're interested. And then the third one is a special or separate teaching, where actually he taught people how to become enlightened, okay. And now here, Master YongHua says, when you look at all these numbers, you add them up and add them, subtract and minus this few a year off here and there and so forth. And he says, let's not worry about the timelines, because it's all nonsense. All that matters, all this talk here is, are you enlightened or not? That's all. That's the whole purpose of all these things. It's not about these exact timelines. It's about you entering nirvana, you becoming enlightened. Okay, never forget that. Okay, all the thing is happening to you. Okay, is for the sake of you entering nirvana as soon as possible. That's all. Okay. If it might mean that you should go to the Pure Land first, okay, and so forth. It might mean that you need to suffer first, and so forth. Okay? 1108. And because the time before was long, he termed them fixed nature and without the nature, yet they were not forever fixed or forever without it.
就其常时，云定性无性，非永定永无。
Okay, 1109. Simply put, it's not the way it seems to be. Okay? Buddhist teachings is not the way you think. When it's necessary, they tell you one thing. Okay? When you're confused, they have to give you candies and baozi and pho. And then when you get better, then give you, I don't know, bread and cheese. Okay, or maybe the other way around, I'm not sure. Okay, but the point here is that that's where I said earlier about the one thing that is very important is faith, because it's not something you can understand. Because they're not simply here to save you only. They need to save a lot of people at the same time. Okay? And so that's why they do certain things certain ways that it's not something you can understand. All right? And this 1110, he goes on and on about fixed nature sound ears and the fixed nature without nature. All those are temporary terminologies. Very much like, let's look at ourselves. This lifetime, you are Filipino, Korean, Mexico, Vietnam, and so forth. Okay, and that's only a good 100 years. And next 100 years, who knows what you're going to be. Okay, so you can't say, I'm forever American. I'm forever Vietnam. Okay, it's only temporary. You need to look at the bigger timeline. Okay? And so he's going to argument, yes, number a little bit off 1 year here and there and so forth. You can do it so that 50, 49 years, whatever, who cares? Okay, and he rambles on. He says, I send people to Hong Kong to lecture to Taiwan. Send people to Taiwan to take precepts. Okay, and one left. Okay, it's how you can imagine how difficult it was for him, poor and not known, and the people came to him because they're hippies and they got free shelter, free food, and warm clothes or whatever for a while. Okay, and he still allowed them to lead the home life and become fully ordained. Because most of these people return to lay life. Okay, so they were the early runs, the early waves to help build his American Sangha. Okay, and so it's a lot of grief he had to go through himself. Okay, and he says, you guys don't realize how much work it is, that I have to protect you, I have to help you, I have to feed you. Not only that, I send you to the thing, and you listen to these strangers, okay? Because this is sounding good. That's how confused you are. That's how pitiful you are, okay? And we get a lot of help by myself too. We need to give you protection as well, okay? And so forth, and on and on. I don't know why he's so emotional here. He talked about his disciples. I never get emotional with my disciples. And he says, I relate to you. My disciples loan me books, and one thing I like about that book is that you should not be afraid of enduring the leg pains. Okay, and that's what the whole book was what makes the whole book worth it to me. I went through the whole thing to say, the one thing here, that's very, very good. Okay? And then we are now at 11:18, moving on. He talked about some Buddhist jargon here. Prajna is a Sanskrit, and the history of the translation from Sanskrit into Chinese. He says there are 5 kinds of terms that they didn't translate, that the sages of old chose not to translate. Number 1, many meanings. We do the same thing too in English, right? Sometimes we use words from French, words from Spanish, from Espanol, from Vietnam, and so forth. Okay, phở is Vietnam. How are you going to translate phở? Okay, and so and so in particular in these languages, one word has multiple meanings. That's why it's better not to translate them. Okay, just learn a new term, new vocabulary. Number 2, terms not translated out of reverence, because it's a designation of respect and reverence, like Buddha. Okay, you don't want to translate Buddha. Okay, terms not translated because of ancient practice, because that's never wasn't done, so we should keep the same way. And number 4, the things that don't exist in our areas. For example, what don't exist in our areas? Kimchi. Okay, it's not here, so that's why So we use those things, those words. And number 5, not translated because it's secret, like in mantras. Okay, mantras have a lot of secret words that are not translated because they are language of Buddhas. And prajna has 3 types. You have to memorize this. This is important for you to memorize because eventually it will make sense to you. 3 kinds: literary prajna, contemplative prajna, and real mark prajna. So what we're doing, this is what we're doing with you. The last 19 years, I've been teaching you literary, contemplative, and real mark prajna. Okay, that's Buddhist wisdom. You need to have literary prajna, you have to have contemplative prajna, and you have to have real mark prajna. Okay, and so this is the genius of the training in Buddhism. We very deliberate. Give an example. Literary prajna are the things that you learn, the vocabulary, okay, the jargons. And what Master YongHua did is fascinating to me, is that he gave us a subset of those jargons that we needed in Chan only, in Pure Land only. That's enough for us to become enlightened. Okay, so the genius of this, his genius is that you don't be fooled by the fact he explained a lot of sutras. Okay, that's for future reference. Okay, so plant the seeds for you, because unless you have those, you spend time planting the seeds up by reading, by listening. That's preparing you, paving the way for you to blossom. Without this, you cannot blossom. Without this, you are one type of flower. Okay, we want the whole garden of flowers, all sorts of flowers. Indian flowers, China flowers, and so forth. Everywhere. Okay? So that's why literary prajna is long-term investment, folks, including vajra seeds, okay? Indestructible seeds, all right? And then from there, okay, this is what very, very attractive to a lot of intellectuals. They love the Buddhist logic and how vast and how well woven the Buddhist fabric of knowledge is. Even intellectuals are very, very impressed. Buddhist teaching is extremely consistent. And you see the big picture, this tapestry is so huge and it is so beautiful, so intellectually stimulating. And that's what literary prajna is about, okay? But it cannot stop there. It's just a starting point. It's one of the 3-pronged, okay, of the bar stool, if you will. You need the other 2. The other 2 is you need to learn to contemplate, okay, meaning chan, meaning concentration. You need to develop and increase your concentration. Okay? Because what happened with literary prajna is that you know these concepts, they're words only in your head. Unless you have contemplative prajna, you cannot possibly penetrate, go beyond the meaning of the words. Am I making sense to you? Words are words. Okay? People in the world, they're making a mistake of dwelling at the level of words. Okay? We in Buddhists know better. We know that we first teach you vocabulary, but then we teach you how to pierce through the meaning of the words. Yes, one.
So, Master, for contemplative prasna, you got to be in certain level of samadhi.
Yes, you need to be fourth, 4A or higher. Okay, what happened is that the problem with literary prajna is that they're just simply words. And what happens to these words is that they're so beautiful, they become attached to them. So contemplative prajna frees us from that attachment of the beauty of it. It's like, if you will, like a bowl of pho, a bowl of good food. Okay, it's very salivating. Okay, very enticing. Looks very good. Okay, and you need to learn to be able to drop that excitement before your head can clear up. Okay? Ordinary people, they get excited and they get afflicted and they become helpless. Hurts a little, they say, oh my God, this is too much. Okay? So contemplative prajna is to be able to stop that. Stop the panic. Okay? And real marked prajna is when you have real wisdom. You'll be able to understand the middle way eventually. Meaning that you understand something that ordinary people or people below you cannot understand. There's no way to tell them. That's when you become humble. I know so much, but I can't tell you. Because I tell you, you won't believe me. Okay? Questions? Today you're so quiet. Okay. And he goes on and on about the 3 types of translation and so forth. Okay, moving on to 1122. I'm skipping a lot of things. You feel free to go back. These slides are shared in public domain, right? You feel free to read them or whatever. To me, it's just not that interesting. All the shastras are simply established in accordance with the Buddha's experience, so term them fixed and without.
诸论随佛方便成立，故云定无耳。
Okay, and this is Master Jing Liang again. He's quoting these things. He's very scholarly tone, as I tell you. This actually these are the different jargon we use, like fixed and without Buddha nature and so forth. Actually, are simply jargons. It's okay. Don't worry about them. 1124, that's why I don't go into them. Therefore, such shastras as the dual nature and the Buddha nature all speak of the cause of ichantikas, having slandered the great vehicle.
故宝性、佛性等论，皆说以一阐提谤大圣因。
More references, and the more dual nature shastra, Buddha nature shastra, okay, that they have slandered the great vehicle sutra. And that's why now they don't have enough faith. Okay? So it's interesting to see here, based on this Buddhist scriptures, that you lack faith because in the past you slandered the great vehicle sutras. So remember that. Don't slander. Okay? You slander, you're asking for a lot of suffering and pain for you. Okay? For example, he says this is very real nowadays, especially in academia. A lot of professors claim that Shurangama Sutra is fake. The Dharma Flower Sutra is also not truly spoken by the Buddha. Okay, and so on. Why not mention Earthstar Bodhisattva Sutra, the Flower Dormant Sutra? Okay, and you see, these people are trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get attention to themselves. So say they don't realize that they're only hurting themselves. And not just these people, but actually be careful for us who translate. You have to be careful that you don't want to, on your own, decide what to translate, what not to translate. Okay, you don't have enough wisdom. Just be humble. These are the words spoken by the Buddha, and therefore translate them all. Okay? Because if you pick and choose, then you are saying this section, this chapter I'm leaving out is not authentic. It's not. I can't understand. Therefore, I'm going to leave it out. So basically, you are endorsing the fact that it's probably inauthentic. Okay, don't do that. So that's Master YongHua's tip to us. 1128, and based upon limitless time, say that they are without the Buddha nature, and yet these shastras are not stating that Ichantikas ultimately lack the pure nature.
一无量时说无佛性，非为究竟无清净性。
Okay, so he's saying, 1129, he says, when you create these offenses, okay, he says it in a scholarly way, but I explain it in simple terms for you. When you create these offenses, slander the Mahayana sutras, slander the Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, you will have to undergo a lot of suffering for a long time. Okay, and that's why during a long time it appears like you're Ichantika, you don't have the Buddha nature. Actually, you look a little bit longer, you see that they eventually become Buddhas themselves. Okay, and so this is confirmation for you that when you create these offenses, it seems to be no big deal. Slandering the Buddha Dharma, slandering the Mahasattvas, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, you're going to suffer for a long time. Is it worth it? Okay? Okay, and then he told another story here, 1130. Here's a piece of fiction, although claimed to be a real story, about 18-year-old male novice monk. And he has the desire to travel and study at various temples. And he was told by his teacher that no matter what, he shouldn't have thoughts of sexual desire. Okay? Yeah, right. It's sort of like telling your boy that you're bound to fail. So one evening it was getting dark, he stopped by a temple. A young female novice, a little bit younger, opened the door. The teacher is away. And he says, okay, since back then they travel and by foot, and monks could not ride horses, okay, or donkeys. because out of compassion, we are not allowed to ride horses. Okay, and so they walk everywhere by foot. And so since he wanted to go to many temples to study and stay at various temples. So he gets to spend the night at strange places. It turns out he stopped by a temple, a nun temple, and he didn't realize a nunnery. Okay, because the nun temples and male temple, they're all the same looking from the outside. So knock on the door and asking to, and what monks and nuns do, they are entitled to, because all the temples are part of the triple jewel assets. So they're all entitled to use it under the right circumstances. Okay, and so he knocked on the door and asked to stay the night, and it turns out it's a nunnery, and the nun in charge was away. It's only a female novice was around, and so he said, "Okay, no problem. I stay outside." Okay, but she says it's okay. You know, we are the same family. You can come in. Okay, maybe stay in the yard or something. It's a big temple. And she was found in to be good looking. He says, "You know what? We have a lot of rooms too. Go in and stay in one of the rooms." Okay, and this is what happens when you spring out on your own too soon. Okay, your master says, "Have no sexual desire." Duh, as if something you can control. Seriously, and then you see these people and these so-called nice people who are kind to him, and so he said, "Well, you know, I have only honorable intentions. I have nothing. Okay, but if there's no danger here because I can control myself. Okay, I have no thought of sexual desire, so I can stay inside one of the rooms. But just to be safe, he bolted the door. And the girl is sort of novice girl is sort of crafty. He said, "Can I get into your room and look for something? It's important. I can't wait till tomorrow." And he says, "No, you can't come in because it's inappropriate." And she says, "You don't let me know I die here." Okay. And he says, "You can die all you want. I don't know you." Lack of compassion. And what an interesting story. The story claims that the female novice was burned by the fire of this sexual desire, died on the spot. Yeah, really. As if women are that stupid, you know. It's probably that story written by a man. They have no clues. Okay, that's not how it works with women. True? No way you're going to burn by sexual desire. You should say, "Oh, next." And Master, how is it going to happen? Okay? But anyway, the thing is that the next day, the nun teacher came back and saw the ashes of a disciple. She got really upset, afflicted, and got him arrested. Okay? Anyway, so Master Yeshua, it's funny that these people are so naive. They read these things and believe anything. And how? What does it have to do with what he's teaching? I have no clues. Okay. So you see, he BS's too. He digresses too. That's my point. Okay? And then he goes to serious business. He says, "Tomorrow we have a Buddhaization session. Okay? So we're going to purify the boundaries. We should do that. But we're lazy. Okay, usually they do a ceremony thing where you purify the boundaries, where you set up the boundaries, where within the boundaries, people will need to behave, and they are protected by within the boundaries, meaning that if they walk around, they recite the Da Bei Zhou, Great Compassion Mantra, and they set the boundaries right there. And in doing so, you have special protection that the troublemakers, they cannot come in, okay, unless they cultivate. They cannot come in and cause problems for you. Okay, so this is a process that you do at my master's temples. And we did it once, I think, at Lu Mountain Temple a few times, and then later they all left, so I got lazy. I said, there's no one else. So I'm going to skip the purified boundaries, me anyway, so who else are going to cultivate? And only a handful of my trusted disciples. They don't need any protection. But anyway, this is what they do. This is actually ceremonial. It's not a bad thing to do, actually. You know, if you abbots feel like doing it again, by all means, do it. Okay. Okay. And he says, it talks about Pure Land. It's one recitation of Buddha's name, and all will accomplish Buddhahood. Okay. Sounds like a commercial to me. All right. And 11:35 is as recitation sessions. We organize only a few times a year. Abhidhamma recitation, 1 year recitation. So please come. Don't miss the opportunity. And he started to teach the Pure Land Dharma door here. He says, you recite the Buddha's name, recite Wan Yin's name. In the future, you will be able to, we will have the chance to go to the Pure Land, okay? And so don't forget about the land of ultimate bliss. That's a very, very nice place. All right, so that's the introduction to the Pure Land Dharma door. So he started pretty early back then already. Okay, yeah. All right, 11:36. If one maintains that the Dharma flower is a teaching of the second period, which in order to draw in those not fixed in the two vehicles, speaks of all accomplishing Buddhahood.
若谓法华是第二实教，唯引不定二圣，故说一切悉皆成佛。
I think we're starting a new section here. I don't feel like going into it. Only have 5 minutes left. Anyone has any questions, any comments? Yes, 8.
Emitofuo Masters, I want to ask a question regarding my sittings. So usually when I'm sitting, I'm shaking a lot, and there was a period of time I started to do, it doesn't always work, but there will be time that if I'm really trying to focus on my navel or listening to or reciting a mantras for medicine master mantras, the shaking would stop. So you told me before that shaking is also a good thing, and so I want to ask if it's really trying to stop the shaking is a good way to focus on something to stop the shaking is a good practice or a good way to go. Thank you, Masters.
Okay. For some reason, we have a lot of people who shake at our temples. A lot of people. You see, only weirdos come to our temple, in other words. A few are normal, okay, don't shake at all. But so many people shake. And there's a reason why you shake. I'm not telling you why, I'm not teaching you why. Part of the teaching here is for you, as I said. It's a very good thing. And I want to share it to all the monks and nuns out there. When people shake, it's a very, very good thing. Okay? It's an excellent state. And eventually, well, eventually they will stop. It's a matter of time, okay? And ultimately, when they get higher, one day they understand why they shake, naturally, okay? And so this is part of your development of your faith. If you don't believe it, a lot of people, when I first started, there's some people who shook a lot, and I told them when they didn't believe, so they dropped out, okay? And they basically quit meditation, okay? Yeah, go from full lotus to half lotus because they didn't want to shake anymore, okay? And after a while, I would not be surprised if even a half lotus, they eventually will shake again, okay? Because there's a reason for it. Okay, it's for you to, so all you have to do is endure, that's all. You don't need to do anything. If it shakes and it's difficult for you to concentrate harder, fight it, that's all. Don't try to make it stop shaking. There's no need for you, because it's a good thing. I told you already, shaking is a very good thing. Why would you want to try to stop it? Stop a good thing from happening to you, so that you don't shake. Not shaking is not necessarily any better than shaking, okay? Actually, when you shake, you progress a lot faster than without shaking, in those of you who shake, okay? So I know it bothers some of you, and it's worrisome, especially like some people, they roll around the Buddha hall and so forth, and they do crazy and stupid things. They move in strange ways, and so forth. It's alarming, but I know the cause of that. That's why I assure you it's a good thing. Don't have to worry about it. Okay, and those of you out there who are worried, and because your monks and your teachers told you to stop, I remember, what is XF? XF used to shake a lot. I came to her temple, and her master forbade her to meditate, to cultivate, because the way you move is too crazy, and it scares our people away. And the girl only wanted to cultivate. That's the only thing she wanted to do in her life. And she was told not to cultivate. So I had to help her. I helped her not shake as much, or stop shaking, and so forth. Okay, so you could say that I'm the one who helped her continue her career as a nun. Okay, maybe. And she didn't know that. I never explained to her. But this is the thing. Eventually, you just do whatever you can to help. But eventually, it's about them. It's not about you. Whether they believe or not doesn't matter. But eventually, look at her. Now she still shakes, but occasionally she shakes. Before, it's pretty bad. She was crazy. She was scary. And she make these dance moves, It's really fascinating, so entertaining to me. But it scared the Koreans. The Koreans who went to her temple, they were frightened. They said, "Are you possessed by a ghost or something?" And so, there she is. Look at her, how happy she looks nowadays. Before the master, "Why did you do that? Stop it!" Okay. So my point being, it's a good thing. Don't worry about it. And you try to, in spite of the shaking, in spite of anything, what people think of you, or laugh at you, make fun of you, how difficult it is, you endure it. Okay, that's part of your training. That's all. Look at her now. Shake. XF, can you shake a little? You remember I said? Okay? Don't be, it's a good thing. That's all you need to know. Endure, that's all. It's difficult, you keep at it. It's more difficult, the harder you try. Yes, A.
Yeah, thank you, Master. Just to clarify that I do not worry. I mean, kind of get used to it. I just wonder, sometimes can be stopped, and then the other time it couldn't be stopped, and then just
Why did you stop? I didn't tell you to stop it. Stop it.
yeah. So thank you, Master.
Yeah, you're doing things that they're not good for you. Don't try to stop. Just let it happen. Okay? If it shakes, it shakes. If it rolls, it rolls. I don't care. Okay? But don't hurt yourself. Okay? Don't allow yourself to get hurt. Yes.
Yeah, could I ask a quick follow-up question?
Another shaker, clearly.
Yeah. And so every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I do the Avatamsaka Sutra, Chapter 40,
Yeah.
5 division.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when I start shaking a lot, like when my head starts going, I can't read anything, so I can't really do the recitation. Is it more important that I just continue shaking, and if I can't read it?
If you can't read it, you can't read it because you're shaking. You're too busy shaking.
Okay, so the shaking's more important than
Just ignore it.
Okay.
You can't shake, you can't read because you're shaking. It's a natural thing. The thing is that don't meddle. Don't intervene with it. Okay? Just let it happen. That's all. And if you can't read, you can't read. You can't recite, you can't recite. You can't concentrate, you can't concentrate. But you are concentrating on something else because you're still shaking. You cannot shake unless you're concentrating. Okay, so it's a good state. Okay, we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.